evening, everyone. Tonight we've got a really special guest. I'm excited for you to see. While you're waiting for the show to start and a few more people get online, please post in the comments and let me know where you're from. Hello, everybody. Gonna get started with the show in just 2 more minutes. While we wait, post in a comment, let me know where you're from. Thanks for being here tonight. Good evening, everybody out there in PowWows Nation. I'm Paul Gatterer. I am the founder of PowWows.com, and this is the weekly show from PowWows.com, PowWows Nation Live. Thanks for being here again. I really appreciate you being here. It's awesome seeing in the comments already. We've got people from New Zealand, from Holland, Alberta, Canada, Quebec. I saw Pennsylvania, Chicago, all over North America and the world. So thanks for being here. So tonight I've got a really special guest. Miss Cheyenne Kippenberger, who was Miss Indian World for Gathering of Nations 2019, and then during quarantine and all of the craziness of 2020, she stayed on for another year. So we're going to interview her, talk about her time at Miss Indian World and what she's up to now. So be excited for that. Please make sure you check out in the comments there. I put a link to her website, so please go check that out. If you are not familiar with Cheyenne, here I'll give you a sneak peek. This is Cheyenne Kippenberger. She is from the Seminole tribe of Florida, and you can see some of the pictures here. She had an incredible time as Miss Indian World. Traveled. She went to New Zealand, so the folks down there that are watching, she actually traveled as Miss Indian World to New Zealand. So that's pretty cool. So we'll hear more from her in just a few minutes. I do have a couple of announcements. So first, if you are new to PowWows.com, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. PowWows.com is your source for exploring Native American culture. When I started the website in 1996, that was what I wanted to do, is to share what I was learning about the culture with you and make PowWows.com a starting point for you to be able to explore more of the culture. Whether you're enrolled in a tribe or you're just wanting to go to a powwow, we want to be able to help connect you with whatever part of the culture you're interested in. We here at PowWows.com, we are striving to elevate the voices of Native culture through highlighting people like Cheyenne. We have an event calendar with powwows and other tribal events going on all over the country that you can attend and experience culture firsthand, as well as we've got some other things coming too, and lots of other resources that we have on the site. So if you're new here, that's what we're all about. Thank you for being here. See more comments. Let's see. Sacramento is here. Hello. Manitoba, New York City, Ottawa. Hello. John Hill, good evening. Thanks for being here again. Great to see you. Other announcements. So I've talked in the past, and she was a guest on a past show, but my friend Leah Sinigeni is a professional disc golfer, and PowWows.com is going to help her out and be a sponsor for her in the 2022 disc golf professional tour. So we do have some merch to help her, and the first thing did come in here. We do have shirts now available out over on the shop. Please go check them out. There's the address there, but here is her shirt, and we will be coming out. We also have some stickers in the shop for that. So please go support that. Proceeds from the sale of those do go to support her tour and her time traveling this year on the professional disc golf tour. So we're excited for that. We've got, like I said, t-shirts and stickers. Hopefully we're talking to Cheyenne and not Cheyenne, we're talking to Leah, and hopefully, cross your fingers, we're going to be able to have some actual discs to sell too with that stamp on it. So look for that soon. All right, Massachusetts. Hello. Trent from Virginia. Diane, hello. So we do not ship to Mexico yet, but we are working on doing international shipping. So check that out soon. We will hopefully have something for you. All right, Choctaw's here too. Awesome. Okay. Other announcements. We also do have, we still are in the middle of our contest. We're giving away 10 Pendleton blankets. That will be at the end of February. So stay tuned after the interview, and I will give you a bonus code to enter that contest. You can enter to win daily for better chances to win. www.PowWows.com/win. Let's see. And we do have some other, make sure you stay tuned to our newsletter. Sign up for that and find out where powwows are happening near you. As powwows are coming back, we're getting more and more listings on the calendar. Have had a couple of cancellations, but it seems like in most places in the country, Omicron is starting to die down again. So hopefully powwows are going to happen in most of the country. So please check that out. I see Sandra's posting. So the Apache powwow is March 4th through the 7th. If we don't have that on our calendar yet, or anybody out there that is involved in a powwow, please send us that information. You can email me, Paul@PowWows.com, and we will get that added to the calendar and then share out on all of our socials. So we got some other big announcements. Stay tuned. Our newsletter coming up in March. Some really cool things. One of those things that we will be spending a lot of time doing, like I said, we want to with this website elevate other people's stories and really help promote our native artists and our like Cheyenne speakers and performers. And so we've had the Shop Native directory for a long time, and we've been promoting that. A great place for you to go and find actual native made products, whether it be beadwork or jewelry or blankets or whatever. We got over at www.powwows.com/shop-native. Well, we are going to start a new, we're working on building it, and it will be available soon, is a native talent directory. I get emails all the time for people wanting a speaker to come speak at a conference, or they're putting on, they have a convention going on and need a speaker, or they're having some kind of festival and they want some performers to come and do special performances, whatever. So we're going to form a directory and be able to list all those. So hey, if you are one of those people, please let me know. We'll get you added to the directory, free of course, and we'll help promote that, and that'll be a resource for anybody coming out here and looking for that kind of stuff. So wow, Ecuador is watching now too. That is awesome. Thanks everybody for being here. I really appreciate the support, all of you staying and watching. So I'm going to get out the way now, and I'm going to introduce Cheyenne Kippenberger, former Miss Indian World, and I'm really excited that she was able to spend some time with me today and do this interview. So here is Cheyenne. I'm so excited to welcome to the show Cheyenne Kippenberger, Miss Indian World for 2 terms. It was amazing that you were able to represent Gathering Nations for that long. Sad that we had to do it that way, but Cheyenne, thanks so much for being here.
Oh no, so happy to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. It's been a while since I've seen you and since we've talked, so
I know.
Good to be back.
It was so much fun getting to do the virtual gathering and getting everybody together again, and on that first Zoom, and everybody kind of getting to see old friends again. That was really fun. That was one of the highlights during the quarantine there. All right, for those who out there watching who aren't familiar with you and your time as Miss Indian World, can you introduce yourself and tell us, where you're from and a little bit about your background?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everybody. Chihinta Chahochifke, Cheyenne Kotum Yakete Chahochifke, Ichotum Anyatafe Kuatotum Seminole Kotumle. Hi, everybody. My English name is Cheyenne. My given name is Iset. I'm a citizen of the Seminole Tribe of Florida. I'm a former Miss Indian World. And yeah, it's like me in a nut real quick.
So let's talk about Miss Indian World first. When had you been to gathering before, and when did you decide to run for Miss Indian World?
Surprisingly, the year that I ran for Miss Indian World was the first time that I had ever been at the Gathering of Nations powwow. And there had been a few opportunities when I was a little bit younger to go, but it just never lined up and worked out. And yeah, next thing in 2019 I found myself there, and I was like just like starstruck by everything, because it was everything that everybody tells you about Gathering of Nations. And
Right.
initially I had ran for Miss Florida Seminole in 2018. That was my first time ever really running in any type of native pageant in that sense. And after I was crowned in 2018, literally the morning after, at like our celebratory brunch with the committee, Miss Wanda Bowers, who everybody knows, came up to me, and she was like, she slaps this packet in front of me. She's like, "Here's your Miss Indian World application." And I was like, "Huh?" I was like, well, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "I haven't even been Miss Florida Seminole for 24 hours." And she was like, "Hey, look," she's like, "every year we send our Miss Florida Seminole." She's like, "You're not required, but," she's like, "if you're not ready to do that yet, just think about it." And so it probably took me like a good 6, 7, 8 months to get comfortable with even the idea of running. And I got more comfortable in my position, as an ambassador representing my tribe. And I woke up one morning and I was like, like, what do I have to lose? I don't even really know that many people that ran in Miss Indian World. And I was like, that would be so cool to be able to share with, my kids and their kids one day. And so I filled out the application, and then literally a few months later, I was in Albuquerque getting ready to compete in like the biggest pageant in Indian country.
That's so awesome. And having spoken to other Miss Indian Worlds in the past, I've heard the Seminole really they really do a great job of supporting their Miss Seminoles and sending them out to gathering. It's great to have that kind of support system from your own people. That's awesome.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've been sending girls for years and years and years. And, it's somewhat become like a tradition for our Miss Seminole to go and do that. And partially why, I went through with it, because I was like, I'm not going to be the one to break that. But, not only the committee, but also the community, our council, everybody's families come together to support whoever it is that we're sending out there. And so, there is a part where you're supposed to sell raffle tickets. And I remember like posting it on my tribal Facebook page and like going like to people's houses to sell tickets. And we have a native bowling league down here. And I used to go every Friday night and go table to table selling my tickets. And, it was a really beautiful experience. And, to see that people just genuinely want you to succeed in that way. And I remember speaking with some of the elders in my community, and they're like, "We don't even care that you win. It's the fact that you're just going out there and representing us is what matters." And so I definitely felt a big obligation to go out there and just put all of myself and all my heart into that competition.
That's great. So, so you were crowned Miss Indian World in 2019, and the world was normal for a while for you. So, and I know, like we were talking before we started recording, you did get to participate in a tribal fair. Y'all had some really cool stuff, the alligator wrestling and all kinds of, it was awesome live stream to watch. So what was it like that first year, and what were some of the highlights that you got to experience?
It was honestly beautiful. I think, if there's anything that any girl wants as Miss Indian World, it's to try to like visit as many communities as they can and do as much outreach as they can for their platforms, and really just connect with Indian country. And I remember after I got crowned, I finally came home, and like I was kind of settling in, you know what I mean? And it's marinating, and I'm thinking to myself, what do you want to do with your year? And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm just going to try to make myself as available as I can for our people all across Indian country. I'm going to try to get to as many places as I can, but I really wanted it to be this experience to where people really got to see who Cheyenne was at the core of all of it, you know, just the real Cheyenne, not pageant Cheyenne or like who she was during the pageant, and so I set the goal to just be really, really authentic in everything that I did, everywhere that I went, everybody that I interacted with. And so my first year was beautiful. You know, I felt like no matter where I visited, I got welcomed in with open arms. You know, I always had food on the table ready to be fed, you know, gifts, all, you know, the full 9 yards. Or people are so hospitable. But, you know, what made it most memorable was everybody that I just got to meet. And, you know, at points, of course, it's overwhelming because you have people wanting to take pictures and talk to you and everything. But you know, even now, sometimes I'll go places and I'm like, oh my God, I remember meeting you in North Carolina. Like, how are you? How are your kids? And I always laughed and I think to myself, like, that's the most Indian thing, right? Like meeting somebody at a gas station in Oklahoma and then you run into each other in North Carolina, like it's nothing. And I had so many experiences like that. And I feel like I gained so much family and so many friends, and I made so many great lifelong connections. And you know, I think I had a year that any other Miss Indian World would have wished for. And I mean, it was cut a little bit short because we went into lockdown of March, but I was grateful that I got to do my New Zealand trip, which was a really big goal of mine. It was on my bucket list for Miss Indian World to go out of the country. And literally, me and my dad headed out to New Zealand. We were there for like 10, 11 days. And as soon as we came back, everything was in lockdown. And so I was really grateful that I at least got to have all of that time that I did. And I just made the most of it before we knew what was going to happen with the pandemic.
Right. And I have to say, you know, following you throughout the 2 years, what you did on, I mean, I you know, got to see you at Gathering too, but to see, watch you, what you did on social media was truly authentic. And it was so much fun to watch all the stuff you were doing. And you really did show yourself in what you were posting on social media. It wasn't just marketing hype or anything else. So you really did show yourself. And that was fun to watch for those 2 years.
Oh, I appreciate that because I put so much like time and thinking into the things that I would post. And I, you know, and of course, you know, as an ambassador with that type of platform, you have to be cognizant of like the messages you're putting out and the things that you share. And, you know, I'm thinking of like, what would little girl Cheyenne want to see? And I just remembered like not feeling really comfortable in my skin, not feeling beautiful when I was younger and everything. And I was like, I just want everybody to feel beautiful. And so, you know, I would share the really glamorous and fun parts of me being Miss Indian World, which was traveling and like getting to wear my beautiful traditional outfits and the crown and the sash. But there was also really tough parts through Miss Indian World, which was, you know, being like mentally exhausted at points. There was a lot of low points where, you know, I was away from my family for a long time, like certain points of time. And, you know, I wanted the entire experience to be shared with everybody so that it didn't just look like it was this glamorous thing all the time, because in reality it's not. You know, you're not only are you making a lot of sacrifice, but your family's making a lot of sacrifice, and you have so many people rooting for you to just have this beautiful and you know, like impactful year. And that pressure builds up and it becomes really heavy when you're by yourself. And so I was really open about the mental health aspect of being Miss Indian World and having that big platform and that audience and that following. And, you know, I just wanted people to know that even Miss Indian World has really bad days. Miss Indian World has anxiety, you know, being open about the fact that I was like even a high school dropout. Like people were always like, whoa, that happened. I'm like, yeah, like I didn't always have it together, man, but it's okay. You'll figure it out too. And so that was, you know, like I said, the goal that I had set for myself was to just be real. That was so, so important to me. And so hearing you say that, you know, I really do appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It was really, really inspiring to watch throughout the year. And I know that you really touched probably hundreds and hundreds of people, and especially little girls. I know. So my daughter, that was the first time in 2019 that she actually got to come with me to Gathering. And so in meeting you and seeing you there, she was just like, oh my God, that was so much fun. So she followed you throughout the whole time, and it meant a lot to her. So that was really cool. So then we
Oh,
shifted and the world changed. Um, and the you know, Gathering asked you to stay on as Miss Indian World. How did that change for you? And, you know, how did it affect you guys down in Florida?
it was really hard. You know, emotionally, physically, spiritually, it was really hard for everybody. And I remember like literally coming home on this like really big high because I was just in New Zealand as Miss Indian World. And we weren't allowed to go outside. And so there was kind of tackling this change of being on the go nonstop for almost 9, 10 months to literally not being able to just like go to 7-Eleven. And it took a really big toll emotionally on me. Like I really experienced like a deep depressive episode after all that happened. And I was upset because I felt like not just me, but everybody, we had all these events and all these things that were upcoming, and the rug just got pulled out from all of us. And our entire sense of normalcy was essentially robbed from us in like in an instant, actually. And so it was difficult, you know, but with honestly the support of like my family, my siblings, especially the committee too, I had really open and like vulnerable, honest conversations with all of them. I remember even hopping on a Zoom call with everybody and just telling them like, I am so sad right now and I don't know how to get myself out of this. And we had the conversation of me continuing my reign, which, you know, obviously was really, really exciting, but it was a little bit bittersweet to think that, okay, I'm gonna get this extended year, but what's gonna happen? You know, like what's gonna happen with this pandemic? And so initially when we decided that I was gonna continue my reign, we were thinking, oh, in a few months this is gonna be over and we're gonna be back to normal. So I was like ready to be back at PowWows by August, in all honesty. And when that didn't happen, you know, it kind of felt like I took another plummet, and I decided to just share that with people about like how upset I was. And I know that everybody's upset, but maybe if we could just all be upset together and talk about it, like it will feel a little bit better. And so I really, really just tried to put my best foot forward. And I'm so thankful for the support system that I have, because I I recognize that this was a journey that all of us have experienced together through this pandemic, but it was really hard to take on that obligation of still being there for Indian country as Miss Indian World. You know what I mean? And that's when social media, I was like, this is going to be my best friend. Like, how do we shift this and make it even more fun for everybody? And that's where we just had these neat ideas of doing Instagram lives and having like the cake contest and all this stuff. And that made me feel connected to everybody. And as much as I had done it to connect with everybody in turn, that actually filled me up with all of like that good medicine that I really needed at that point, because I was living by myself through the majority of the pandemic. And so coming from being surrounded by people practically the majority of my time to being confined to this space with like just my dogs, that hurt me a lot. And I was really, really sad. But because of Facebook, because of Twitter, because of Instagram and YouTube and all these things, we got to continue connecting with each other. And I think that when we look at our people, we know we're already resilient. We've always known this, but this was like a different chapter that we had to take on. And I'm so proud of our people for taking it on the way that we have. And they created, you know, that social distance powwow, which was
Right.
like the coolest thing ever. And that's like a huge Facebook group that's still ongoing. And, you know, people were coming up with all of these different ways for us to interact and connect. And it made me so proud to be a Native woman, to just be a Native person, in all honesty.
Yeah, it was really, and Fawn and what she was doing, there was so much stuff that came out of that. It was really amazing. Um, and so I see you're still continuing to, you know, speak on your platform and continuing to do stuff on social media. I see you're involved in a women's summit coming up.
Yes, yes. Shout out to Ashley Collingbull. She was able to also get me involved with that, which was really neat. Um, you know, I was a little like scared, you know, coming to the end of my reign as Miss Indian World, because for 3 years I was a princess. And I was like, this is kind of who I am. What's gonna happen after this? And I remember even sitting in my therapy session with my therapist, and I'm like, who am I gonna be if I'm not Miss Indian World? And I had to kind of walk myself through that process, that transition. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that has still thought of me to be included in their conferences, their events, keynotes, whatever it is, because you guys helped me realize that I'm not just Miss Indian World, but you know, this is something that I thoroughly enjoy doing. I love giving back to our people, sharing my experiences, all of these things. If it's education, advocacy, you know, it's we all do this every single day for our people. And so it was it was a weird transition, but it worked out really beautifully. And I really appreciate the fact that people still think of me in that way.
That's great. I'm excited to see how that's going to go with the women's summit. So, and what are the future plans for you now? Where are you headed?
So I'm actually coming to the end of my internship with the Center for Native American Youth at the Aspen Institute, and I'm actually going to be taking on a full-time position as their communications coordinator, which
Awesome.
is really, really exciting because, initially with Miss Indian World, like I just had to figure out social media. Like I didn't really have somebody like all the graphics and everything that everybody saw, I was literally creating myself. And I think sometimes there's this illusion that I have this like social media team behind me. I was like, no, I did all of that myself. And, with all that experience that I gained because, my virtual year, that drove me into having this internship with CNAY. And now I have the opportunity to help uplift their social media platforms and their website. And I get to do a lot of Native youth outreach, which, again, I love doing stuff like that. And so it's been a beautiful thing to see all of this like skills that I acquired through Miss Indian World. Like I still get to apply it into being like this young professional. And so I'm thinking about going back to school. I just moved into my house on the res, which is really awesome. I've been on the housing list since I was like 18. And
Nice.
so yeah, I mean, it's really awesome. I definitely see this change from being like this really young 21-year-old, 22-year-old, like maybe I should run for Miss Seminole, to like being so comfortable and I feel so established. And I genuinely am like very proud of myself because I wasn't always this put together and I didn't always speak this great and things like that. And so, I'm just grateful for the journey. Like shout out to the creator, man.
That's so great. Um, it's a great outlook to have. It's coming through what all we've been through. So, I always ask guests, what kind of advice would you have? And I know you talked about, what your younger self would think. So what would you tell your younger self now that, looking back, and or young girls that are aspiring to be either their tribal princess or maybe even aspiring one day to try to run for Miss Indian World?
Well, first, I would tell younger Cheyenne, like, it's going to be okay. Like, you're going to figure it out. It's not always going to be this messy, and you're not going to feel this like all over the place. And to younger girls or women that are thinking about doing this Indian World or thinking about running in any pageant, really, just do it. Like, don't think about the winning aspect of it. Don't think about, if you're going to have like the best jewelry there, the best dresses, just do it because it's on your mind for a reason. And I am like a really, really firm believer that the creator has these plans for us, these paths that we're supposed to take. And it may not be necessarily like being Miss Indian World or being the title holder, but it's gaining the experience that you had in that pageant. And Native pageantry is beautiful because you're building this bond with these young girls, these young women throughout that entire pageant weekend or pageant week, and you become part of this sisterhood and you literally make lifelong friends. All of the girls that I ran with in Miss Indian World, we all talk all the time. They've become some of my closest friends even. And I encourage you all to take that experience and just enjoy it for what it is. Don't think about the end game of what it was, because Miss Indian World, that was one of the things that was psyching me out in the beginning, was like, well, you're going to go over there and you're going to lose. Like, what's the point of that? And when I finally realized that it really wasn't about getting the title, but it was about like putting the best version of myself out there in this like really uncomfortable, vulnerable position of literally being judged by complete strangers. It's like, how much scarier does it get than that? I was like, that shows that you have guts, in all honesty. And so take that leap, take that jump, and just enjoy the process of like practicing your talent, getting your dresses ready with like your aunts and your family members or your community members, and learning to speak your language, to introduce yourself. Like all of these things are building you up to become like a bigger, stronger, more beautiful Native woman. No title or crown is going to do that. You do that for yourself. And so just do it. And if you have any questions about prep work or like what you should do, message me. Like I always tell people, I'm like not Miss Indie World anymore, but I'm still Auntie MIW and I'm here for all of it.
Well, thank you so much. That was really great advice. And I think, I've talked, like I said earlier, I've talked to lots of Miss Indian Worlds and contestants that run, and they all come out of it saying that the friends they make there are lifelong, and you build this network of support and these relationships. So that's pretty awesome to always hear that that's what's coming out of that week that you guys spend in Albuquerque. That's great. Again, well, thank you so much for spending a little time with me. I hope we will be back in Albuquerque together this year, and I get to to go back to gathering again. But thank you for spending time with us, and I hope everything stays safe down there in Florida for you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me again. And it's been so great to see you after so long. And like fingers crossed, y'all, that we can get through this next few months and hopefully things will turn around and we'll be able to all be in Albuquerque together.
Yes. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Mado.
Again, thank you, Cheyenne, for being with us and spending a few minutes. Please go check out her website if you are looking for a motivational speaker or somebody to speak about mental health and just being an Indigenous woman. She is a fantastic role model and speaker. So please go check that out. I see more comments. Dev, hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while, so good to see you back. Rachel says, yeah, she should put together a course on how to do it. That would be really cool. All right, so as promised, here is the bonus code for the contest. You can go take this bonus code and head on over to www.PowWows.com/win and enter code 80300 for extra points that only people watching the live stream will get those points. So please go do that. Enter daily for better chances to win. Lisa from Australia. Wow, got a lot of international tonight. That's really awesome. All right, just a couple of wrap up things. If you post any more questions, I'll take that too. But just a couple of wrap ups. Please go check out the shop and support Leah on her tour this year out on the disc golf. We got stickers and T-shirts. More stuff coming soon. We got the contest. I mentioned that. What else was going on? I think that is all the announcements. Again, we're live every Thursday night at 9 o'clock on Facebook and YouTube. So thank you for being here and being with us. So I am Paul Gowder. I am the founder of PowWows.com, and our goal here at PowWows.com has always been to be that place where you can come and be the starting point for you to learn more about Native culture. Again, whether you are Native or not, or you are new to powwows or been dancing for generations, this is your place to come and interact, experience, and be part of the community. While saying that, though, I do not speak for any tribes or nations. I am a descendant, but not an enrolled member, so I am not speaking for or behalf of anyone, just us here at PowWows.com. But thank you for being here, and I'll be back again, hopefully with another guest next week. Thanks for all your support. I really appreciate you all tuning in and being with us. And I hope you stay safe and have a good weekend. It is still cold down here in the South. I am ready for the spring and to get back out there, heading to more powwows. Cross your fingers. We're going to be streaming more powwows this year. So everybody have a good and blessed weekend, and I will see you soon. Good night.